Okay, we're here in Margaret River, Western Australia with Ben Von Dusa from Pacific Highway in the United States, and Larry from Robert Oatley, Director of Winemaking. Hi guys.
Hi. Good afternoon, Mr. Mueller. It's good to be here in Margaret River with Larry, who runs the show for the Oatleys out here. And I guess the one question that everyone on our sales force kind of needs answered is why the change out of Mudgee, why the enormous investment in a region that's so far away from the Oatleys home base. What do they see in Margaret River that's so special?
I mean, Mudgee's pretty important, but I mean, if you look at what's happened in Australia for the last 10 years, it's been a real focus on regionality and what particular regions work well with certain varieties across this country. And Margaret River particularly has been on the radar for a long time, but it's been a slow train coming as far as people recognising that not only within this country but also internationally. And for us, and given the second coming of the Oatley into wine, it was a really good time to take advantage of that. Even in past businesses, they've always been involved in WA, but to a very small extent. And I guess right here and right now was such a perfect opportunity for them to become involved, particularly with Chardonnay and Cabernet, because you know, the wine drinking public and the rest of the world want to see something different out of Australia, and this region in particular has always had a fair amount of play given the size of it. You know, it's been a small region in comparison.
Yeah, it was interesting. Just geographically, we spent a fair bit of time up north, and then we drove all the way down to the south of Margaret River. What's that, about an 80-mile stretch?
Yeah, look, it's from the northern tip of Margaret River to the southern tip. It's about 100 kilometres. So, you know, the way we focus a lot of our fruit sourcing is that in the north, being it's warmer, that's where a lot of our red varietals come from, being Cabernet and Merlot. And in the south, we really focus on Chardonnay, and in between, we focus on Chardonnay as well. So, what that gives us, it gives us an incredible ability to blend consistently from one year to the next in terms of style. We're able to hold a style line.
Yeah. So walk us through this vineyard, what this vineyard's all about, and why it's special.
Well, this vineyard, you know, when you consider that the first grapes were planted in Margaret River in about 1967, 68.
Yeah.
So as far as a region goes and the age of a region, it's pretty young. And that was only planted to just a handful of acres. And then there was some growth in the 80s, and this vineyard was planted in the early 80s. Okay, so this is one of the original vineyards in the area. I'd been working with this vineyard for many years, you know, 15, nearly 20 years. I've known the family for a long time. They run a diverse business here, and so grapes are pretty important. And they've read the highs and lows of the industry. They're farmers effectively, and you know, they diversify. But that's the sort of people we like dealing with. They run Cabernet and Chardonnay, which fits into our program extraordinarily well, and some Sauvignon Blanc as well. So it's really important to us to have people that understand the business, but understand, you know, what farming's all about.
Yeah. And it's been interesting while we've been going around today, your interaction with the growers and your ability to ask for the way that their vineyards are managed.
Look, there's one thing to sort of, you know, hand out a blanket approach and say, I want it managed like this and I want it managed like that. At the end of the day, these guys, they're farmers, they know their vineyards really well. Sure, we want things picked in a particular way, and we like to see things growing in a particular way, but they know their patches better than anybody else. So we're not here to tell them what we want. We're here to say, hey, we like what you're doing, and that's the way it's got to work. You know?
Good stuff.
And how many vineyards are you working with here in Margaret River? Different growers?
Yeah, look, different growers, probably around 20 different growers. So we stretch it out. I mean, in some instances, we're not taking all of the fruit, but you know, we've got the ability to grow because most of them to date really like the relationship. We like to think that we're pretty easy to deal with, and we like to think that they'll grow with us over time.
Good stuff. All right, mate. Well, thanks for the input.
Okay.
Great stuff, Larry. We'll be tasting a little wine later, right?
Easy, yeah.
Thank you. Good stuff.